Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 50-year-old from Sheffield, England. His hockey journey has taken him to England, Wales, probably Scotland and Northern Ireland, but for sure the USA and Italy. He enters the shed for the first time, but he is already a legend, giving the shed one of the most thoughtful gifts of all time. Fun is fun. But he is best known as a GB roller hockey legend, molding the minds of young shed guys as a coach and lacing them up himself for my favorite squad, Team Great Britain. And he's still mucking it up in the legends and men's divisions and just participated in the World Championships. But he isn't just a player and a coaching legend. He's a ref and is a goalie dad. But having a goalie isn't the weirdest thing they have got going on, as that weird goalie son was made by banging boots with a Devils fan. Welcome to my shed, Jason Coles.
Good
Well,
afternoon.
how are you? Nice to see you again.
Good, thank you. And
But
you?
yeah, so I missed you at the testimonial, eh? You didn't make it to Batchy's. You're in Italy.
I was, yes.
Mm-hmm. You're not nervous today, are you? You're the 50-year-old. You're not nervous.
Yeah, a little bit, but
Are
we'll
you?
get through it.
To talk to me. That's neat. But I get into how we know each other. We did meet and muck it up at the Matthew Myers testimonial, didn't we?
We did, yes.
Yes.
Uh,
We went out to eat, right?
no,
Or we
we
didn't.
joined up.
Eating's cheating.
No, we joined up Friday evening in whatever the bar was.
Rev to
Some
Cuba, does that make
That's it.
sense?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, ran
Yes.
amok that night, didn't we? Did you end up at Chippy Lane?
Not Friday night. We did on. I think we did Saturday. I've been to
Okay.
Chippy Lane many times.
Yeah, what's your go-to around there?
Kebab,
Yeah. Chicken? Beef?
probably mixed, bit of both.
Oh, really? Mixing it up,
Yeah.
eh? Franny had me do that. I don't know. I was too exhausted from the hockey match on the Saturday that nothing really was going to taste good at that point. I was cooked. uh, but how did Italy go? You were over there playing for Team Great Britain, one of my favorite teams in all divisions.
Uh, Tiring. We were there for a week, and I ended up playing for two teams. So I played on the over. I was on the over 50s, and the over 45s were short of players. So I think four or five of us ended up playing for both teams. So we played 14 games in 7 days.
That's a lot.
It
You,
is.
you
I
don't even
think
have time to have fun then.
not really. On the Wednesday, which was the middle day, we had four games that day.
Mm.
So by the fourth game, it was a bit. I think I'd had enough.
At 50
14
years
games,
old, you're doing this.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. So
That's
I think that was my 50th birthday. So that
jeepers.
was my birthday
Well, happy
birthday day.
50th. Yeah,
No, thank
it's
you.
a lot of hockey for a 50 year
It
old.
is about yeah, probably 10 games too many.
So I get into also. So how'd you do in that tournament, anyways? I
Uh,
think you said you got
not
not well.
Probably seventh. No, not well. We should have done better,
Mm.
but we have maybe three training sessions from September to going out. Rink times, yeah.
Yeah, not enough
Rink
practice.
times, not enough practice. And everybody's from all over, so it's not just local. They're from all over the UK. So we got a Scottish goalie, a few from Wales. So
Uh,
getting everybody together for a full session more
isn't
than two or
yeah.
three times is not practical.
Yeah, if you're getting the fellas from Wales and Scotland together for a practice, jeepers.
Yeah.
So I get into how we know each other. I think one of the first times I really saw pictures of you that I can remember was after the Cardiff Devils won the playoff championship, and you were was that the Salt Box in Nottingham with a
Yes, it
legs and
was. Yeah.
eggs hoodie? Oh,
Yeah.
that can make you hot and bothered over here in Canada. Can make your heart almost want to pop when you're getting pictures of shed guys holding trophies and yourself in a legs and eggs hoodie. That's hockey.
Yeah. I think I had a Shed Boost t-shirt on underneath as well.
And folks, you still can buy that stuff at aleshockeytales.com. And I never bring it up, but you can buy stuff there, right? And you have stuff. That's
Yeah,
thank you.
I've got all the t-shirts.
I love it. Ah, that's good stuff. Because like just to be shooting the breeze in my shed and having fun with shed guys, and then for people like yourself to actually support it and then go actually buy a shirt and then wear it at hockey events, it can mean a lot to a guy, you know?
Yeah, well, they support you to keep you going. You
That's
know,
right.
it's well, my wife got me into the podcast. Obviously, your first few were
Hmm.
former Cardiff players. So she was like, "Oh, you need to listen to to Wales and Hockey Tales. They've got all the Cardiff boys on." So I had to play catch up. So obviously, you start at number one and just keep going.
It's hard to keep up, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm a few behind, but hockey season started, so I we put them on in the car on road trips. So
No,
it doesn't take long.
that's cool though. Yeah, like I'm still having just as much fun. It's just really hard to find time to do them, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Just got to find a pocket and do it. So anyways, Matthew Meyer's testimonial was fun.
Yes, and late. It should have been during COVID. It got put back, didn't it?
It did. But it was fun to be a part of, and getting invited to things like that, it just means the world to a guy that's been retired for like
Yeah,
7 years, you
it
know?
was a good. It was a good. I'm glad for Matthew. We've known well. Kelly's known Matthew. My wife Kelly's known Matthew since he was probably 7 or 8. And I've known him. I was watching Matthew from under 12s when I used to go down to visit Kelly in Cardiff, which he dragged me along to an under 12s game or whatever. So we've known Matthew for a long time and his family.
Well,
So it was just
it's isn't it
obvious we
fun
needed to
seeing the
support him.
puppies? Isn't it fun seeing the puppies grow up and like become
Oh yeah.
players
Well,
like that?
it also makes you feel very old when obviously
I understand.
um, I'm watching Matthew at 12 and his brother at under 10s, and then Matthew's now at his second testimonial.
Yeah.
Joseph's well in his 20s, whatever, or older than that probably, because Paige is just his sister's the youngest.
Yeah,
So
and that's who I stayed with when I went over for his
yeah,
testimonial for a couple nights, and they were just about to have their baby, and then I got to go back for Batchy's testimonial and meet that baby.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Well, I say that makes you feel old when people you've grown up, well, who've grown up, you've watched grow up, are suddenly having babies of their own, and you're like, oh dear.
well, and it's
Makes
very
you,
much like seeing my puppies from Germany that were like the rookies when I was over there. They're now like retiring and have kids, and a bunch of them are getting their jerseys retired, and to see all that happen for kids that you were playing with, as one of the older fellows trying to teach them how to hockey, it's pretty neat to see the careers the fellas can put together.
yeah. Oh yeah,
So anyways, I also get into how we know each other. You weren't there, but this is like the most thoughtful gift ever. My new whistle, Two Ales and Hockey Tales logo, and it says fun is fun on the other side. That's cool. That's hockey.
yeah. You need a good whistle if you're going to be a good coach. Let's say that.
Well, I know how I take care of my belongings, so I've been keeping that in the sheds because if I take it out, I might lose it, right? Because last season, shed gal Breyer, who scored her first goal last season after never playing hockey, and I had her and her parents on. At the end of the season, they were kind enough to make me a nice Yeti cup engraved with Coach Wally and a Kincardine Canucks logo on it. And I thought, geez, I'm going to keep this for the rest of my life. And then I went to a spring hockey tournament. I didn't have to coach, I didn't have to do nothing. I got a bit in one, and sure to shit, that cup is in Niagara Falls somewhere. Felt bad, still feel bad. I feel like I should go buy one and say I never lost it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, sounds like a plan.
Anyways, so thanks for buying the Legs and Eggs hoodie, because that was just like you were with Mac in the bar. And how does that feel as a Sheffield fan when you're taking photos with the Devil
Well,
at the time?
well, the plan was my son's got. Yeah, well, it's okay. I'm following him. Obviously, he's at Herning now. So still follow how he's doing.
Because
But
he's a shed guy.
my hoodie had 17 Mosey on the back. But obviously now
Oh,
he's
there you go.
he's now in Cardiff, so
Yeah. Joke's on you.
yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, the plan was to wear Evan has got one with Caruth on the back, and I had Mosey, and we were going to have a photo with sat in the crowd because at playoffs Kelly sorts the tickets out, so I always end up sitting in the Devils block
Oh
in
dear.
amongst all the Devils fans.
Are you in
So
orange
when
too, like that?
no, I don't wear team
You
colours.
don't want to get in a fight in the crowd, eh?
No, it nearly did. So I think 2017 triple overtime, Cardiff versus Sheffield, and I think first period Sheffield, and I was like, try not to get too excited. Then Cardiff tied it up, and it went to triple overtime. And then when Sheffield scored the winner, I got carried away and jumped up and started screaming and got some funny looks from
I'm
some
sure
Devils fans
you
that didn't know.
you probably couldn't have contained yourself at that point, eh?
No, no. After 3 periods of overtime, plus it was a tense day.
Well, I understand this hockey can get intense. As a player, I didn't, I you'd feel it. But the coaching, I find it even more interesting how you don't get to go out on the ice and do anything about it. You just watch the kids do what you've tried to explain, and hopefully it all works out. But I tell you, the adrenaline can really get to you when you don't get to go out there and hit someone or do something, you know?
Yeah, I found out when I was coaching it. You plan all week and then you just hope you can't influence. Obviously, you can with changing lines and what have you, but you can't influence. You can't go out there. You want to go out and do something, try and influence the game, but you've just got to stand on the bench and
Yeah.
hope your players do what you say they do. And
Yeah,
when
and
they
do it
don't, you're
well.
like, come on, just.
Yeah.
We've worked on this all week, or well, all week. One training session for an hour and a half. Why? Yeah.
Um, and so I went back through the research team got hot, went back through some of our messages over the time here. And just because as of right now, folks, 3 days in a row, we've been #1 in Israel since Evgeny Kuznetsov came on, the coach of the men's team, the under 20 and under 18 teams for Israel next season, a legend over there. One of the messages said that you coached a guy that plays in the Israeli league, eh? Or did. I think I didn't write his name down. It was Harry something.
Oh yes, that's right. I can't,
I don't think it was Harry Balls. It
Blake,
was Harry.
yes.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
Harry Blake, I think it was Harry.
That's right. I knew it
Yeah,
was close.
um, so I think that was probably GB roll hockey through 2015, 16, something like that.
Pretty small world though, right? When
It
you
is,
make there's
yeah,
connections all over the game, isn't there?
yeah, well, yeah. It's obviously, yeah. I'm trying to think. It was probably under 14s back then,
Okay.
and then his name popped. I thought, oh, my son was researching, having a look to see at the team because he had another guy on that played in the Israel League, and he started having a look through the team, and Harry Blake's name was there. Like, well, that's can't be the same Harry Blake, and then you click on his name and
Sure
born here,
enough.
blah, and you're like, oh, it is. I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah, that happens quite often for the research team. But another way we know each other when I scroll through all the fun photos that have happened in the last couple of years since being in my shed. Your son and shed guy Kevin Hampson, somebody won a raffle and is holding a jersey up. Do you know that
Yes,
who won the jersey? Who's giving it to who there? Do you know?
Kevin Hampson won the jersey.
Yeah, he did.
Kevin Hampson won the jersey, and we Evans, a Devils fan, on Walton jersey, isn't it? So somebody gifted it us to raise money for Tiavan for the All
Oh, that's the
Stars.
one, right? Yeah, your wife
All
was doing
Stars.
all that and
Oh
all.
yeah.
I saw the photo of it. And I'm like, I don't recall having this raffle because it wasn't me, right?
Somebody gave it to us and said, "Oh, it's a Brent Walton game worn from well, either 14, 15,
That's
or
about the only
briefly
games I
15,
played.
yeah, 15, 16. I think it's 14, 15. And then Kelly got on it Twitter and raised quite a bit of money. and it
Yeah,
was
that's
Kevin
pretty
Hampson
cool.
that won it. Yeah,
And that guy's a shed guy. He was wearing a Two
yeah,
Ales and Hockey Tales hoodie in New Zealand and sent me a fun photo. I tell you, it can just make your heart want to explode seeing shit like that, you know?
yeah.
So Shed hasn't had a love story in a while. How did you start knocking boots with a Devils fan? This is some messed up shit, man. Steelers and Devils getting married?
I'll keep that because you keep freezing. It was 1990. Oh, Kelly's not here to fact check. We discussed this. It's either 94 or 90. It's 95. Um, Steelers Devils game. A friend, I started going to hockey 93. A lad at work got me into it. We were talking, and he said, "Oh, you should come to the arena to watch the Steelers." So it was 90. I think it was 1995. We met Sheffield Cardiff game in one of the two pubs. There used to be two pubs across the road from the arena,
In
the
Sheffield.
stadium. Yeah, the
I,
stadium.
I know about those.
This, yeah. So we used to go in the stadium before games. So that's where I met Kelly. And then we go into Enfield after games. So that's where the players used to come in. So you'd spend a couple of hours. That's when hockey players came for a couple of beers with the fans after the
But
game. So you'd sit in
so that doesn't happen anymore? Players aren't crushing beers with fans anymore?
the bus home. Not in well, not in. I don't go. I don't go very often. But they used to have a like fan zone toward later on. Um,
What I was curious what teams think of it now, like for the players to have a couple beers with fans, because I personally feel it's really important, especially on like the last game of the weekend. Like you gotta make some time with the fans so they have that connection with you.
that's what got me into hockey in the
Yeah.
way it did really because I had a season ticket for the Sheffield United the football team, one of the football teams, and you went to the match, you watched the match, then you went home.
Hmm.
When I started to go into the Steelers, you watched the match, and then you'd go into the pub across the road within sort of 40 minutes of the game ending. The players started drifting in, and
Yeah.
not just the Brits. It was like the imports. Back then, you had three imports. So Shudry used to come in. Chris Kelland, another guy, used to come in. Um, they just filtered in bit by bit. They'd have a few drinks, and then it'd be 11:30, and the pub would be closing, and then they'd be, oh, we need to get off. But even the away teams, like back way back when, the Edinburgh and teams like that, they'd come in, have a drink with the fans, get a few
That's
bottles
hockey.
for the bus home. Yeah, it was.
You should
And then
like
it,
the reason speaking of that pub that brings back a memory was when I came to Sheffield to do my pregame speech when I was injured and I was going to be Thor and I got on the bus with my creepy stalker neighbor and all the fun fans and we cruise up to Sheffield. I might have had a beer or two with them. And then when we got there and warm-ups hadn't really started yet to sneak me in, I went to the pub with all the fans and it was Sheffield Cardiff fans all mucking it up. So
yeah,
that's where love became love, eh? Is in that bar. I
yeah,
was in there. I went in there
yeah,
for a beer too, one or two, before I did my pregame speech. And then when warm-ups started, Dee snuck me into the shower and I got naked and dressed as Thor and beat up Dees, you know?
yeah. At least Sheffield Arena changing rooms are warm. You ain't got to deal with like, I mean, Evans playing at Altrincham now.
Well, when you're getting
That
naked,
is
you don't want it cold.
no, oh no,
Not at all.
yeah.
No, there's some cold rooms
There's
out
some,
there.
yeah,
When
there
I
is,
went to Manchester, they broke the glass during warm up and I had to sit in the shitter for like
yeah.
almost 2 hours.
Yeah, I have to sit in that rink not every Tuesday, but Evan trains on a Tuesday night. Um, and I have to sit in that rink and it's absolutely Baltic. So I've played a couple of
It's
times in there and the change
absolutely Baltic. What does that mean? Means
cold.
cold?
Yeah,
Really? That means Baltic, eh? Hmm,
yeah, it's
who knew?
freezing. So
Um,
it's like middle of the summer and I've took a jumper and a coat to sit in a sit in the rink. And you come outside and it's warmer outside than in.
well, yeah, that
It's
can
mad.
happen. So your son does play in the storm shelter, the chocolatey storm shelter.
It does, yes.
And they
It's his second season there.
and that is the NIHL 2 or something?
Yes, that's right.
The Ultra Cham Aces?
Yeah, we've got to drive to Coventry. So he's got a game he's got the start tomorrow in Coventry.
Mm.
So another delightful rink.
That rink sucks. I like the
Yeah.
Storm Shelter way more. I don't know if you're chirping the Storm Shelter, you better stop because your barn in Sheffield's way too big and warm.
No, no, the storm shelter's fine. I mean,
You're
it is
you're
the
right. It
big
is.
blue
It's
tent.
the op. It's better than fine. It's awesome.
It's it's the big blue. I always joked it was the big blue tent with walls
Yeah,
because they actually finished it.
yeah, it's awesome. And it's chocolatey in there, which that is fun. You know.
Yeah, it's a proper what do you call a proper hockey rink.
Oh, and by the way, if you're a Sheffield Steelers fan, maybe there'll be some other Steelers fans listening, but we have a Robert Dowd signed Steelers t-shirt that he even sweating, folks. And you can buy raffle tickets at aleshockeytales.com, and all the money raised from that raffle of Robert Dowd signed Steelers shirt is going to Rich's Road to Recovery, to Rich Bateman for having a stroke, and that I just saw him pretty well walking the other day, and that is pretty neat to see.
Yeah, I saw
Inspiring
that.
fella.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So get your tickets at aleshockeytales.com. And we have Ryan O'Reilly signed pucks from when I skated with him in the summer. And those raffles are going to be over this week. So get your tickets at aleshockeytales.com. Right? Right.
Yeah,
You know what was a neat one for me, speaking of Batchy and his testimonial that you weren't at, is last season when I did a skills day and I took a group photo and I saw my son in his hockey stance, and it reminded me of Jesper Orval from Manchester that I raved about his hockey stance. So then I had the idea to have my poster maker man make the profile of his hockey stance and my daughter's. And then last weekend I saw Hero go on the ice for a puck sponsorship with Batchy, wearing a hockey jersey that said Shed Guy with my son on it. And I just thought, wow, that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
yeah,
Seriously. It's amazing how much fun has happened out here, you know?
yeah. It's amazing. It is. Yeah, from like you say, just from talking to people,
Yeah.
old players.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then like you get fun presents like this, whistles. Um, no, it was pretty neat going over there again because, when I left, you miss it all. You miss all your friends, you miss the game, you miss the fans, you miss everything about it. And you just kind of bury it and carry on with life. And it's really not that much fun. And then to have all that back and have all my connections back and my relationships back and made new ones, it's life-changing shit, you know?
yeah. I mean, we've listened to. I haven't. I think. Yeah, I've listened to every podcast you've done
Jeepers,
so
jeepers.
far. Yeah.
That's a busy
Well,
boy.
there's a lot of road trips. I mean,
Hmm.
um, 2 years ago, Evan was playing in Widnes, and we had to drive up to Solway, which is a three hour trip up and 3 hours back. So that's 6 hours of podcasts I get to listen to. So
Well,
fills the time.
it's pretty interesting some of the stories that have been told,
Oh,
right?
that's yeah, because it's not like you say, it's not the NHL legends. It's people that have had a career, but not the career that they probably thought they were going to have. But the stories relate to real life.
Yeah.
Just
And a lot of guys when my career was over, I always thought about all the things I didn't accomplish, then realizing maybe what I did accomplish. Maybe the bank account wasn't what I was sure hoping for when I'm moving back from the game. And being asked to leave places, it doesn't sit that great. It's like my buddies getting their jerseys retired. It's like that's the exact opposite. That's being appreciated than being asked to kindly leave.
yeah,
But when you do come back and then, you start talking around and then I started to realize maybe I did do some cool shit. And when I think about all my teammates that are getting their jerseys retired, it's like, well, I can feel like I'm a bit a part of that, right?
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you were alive, yeah, with teammates. So it's always nice to see people you've played with get some
Succeed.
recognition. Yeah, succeed. Yeah,
Yeah, especially when they're the good people. But the good people are the ones that get their jerseys retired, you know?
yeah. It's usually the good people that get the numbers retired. Yeah,
Yeah, I just maybe wasn't that good of a person. So where and what are you doing now?
Um, I have thrown my son out of his bedroom to talk to you. Finished work this afternoon. Um,
And what do you do for work?
good question. I'm a manager at a engineering company. I've been there 31 years.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I've been there 31 years. My dad was there.
What kind of engineering we talking?
It's tungsten carbide. We make tungsten carbide bits for drilling, downhole drilling.
Hmm.
So oil wells, mine, anything that needs a hole drilling, we supply the carbide to our.
Sorry, I had a joke there, but I shouldn't say it.
So we
Things
supply the carbide, the tungsten
sometimes
carbide,
jokes pop up in my head. I'm like, oh,
popping.
can't say that. But that's good. You guys are really good at drilling holes.
Well, fingers crossed. Things are a bit tough at the minute. COVID's had an effect that's long lasting, so we're hoping we can turn a corner and start making money again.
Yes, yeah, isn't that yeah, that COVID thing really shook everything up.
Yeah,
So you still playing ice hockey? I saw
I am
mainly
not.
roller hockey.
Yeah, I don't play roller hockey either. I am too old.
Okay,
Other
hold
than
on. Slow down. Stop
other
it.
than the GB.
I was gonna say you played 14 games in 7 days like a couple
Yeah,
months
that was
ago, and now all of a sudden you're too old. Grow up.
well, that was the first 14 games I played that year.
Oh, so you just got jumped right into it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've been trained. I haven't been training for a bit, but I train with a team in Rotherham once a week, so I'm still training, but I don't play games
So you do the
anymore.
stuff that's not fun.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
It's like
unfortunately.
that's like the opposite of what I'd want to do. I'd want to not practice and just show up and play.
Yeah, there's a few that want to do that as well.
Yeah, I understand. So you're in Sheffield then?
Yeah, just a village outside, a place called Stocksbridge that's about 15 minutes from Sheffield. So nice out
So
in.
you got the wife to leave Cardiff and shack
I
up with
did.
you in Sheffield.
Yeah, don't ask me how, because she's got a huge family, so
Hmm.
she gets
They're
homesick.
probably not too thrilled with you moving her out of there, eh?
Probably not. No, although sometimes she's grateful that she's 200 miles away when
Mm,
drama kicks off.
that's true. Yeah, it's like when you're
I mean, she goes
overseas,
she goes
stuff's
back. Yeah,
happening. Yeah.
she
Um,
goes back every month. I mean, she's still a Cardiff. She's still a Devils season ticket holder, so she has to go back.
Living in Sheffield?
Yeah, yeah,
How far is that?
3 hours, 200 miles.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 10 beers.
Yeah, probably. Well, it depends how
Well,
fast you drink them.
yeah, I not that I know. I there's only one or two actually. Um, right? So poster pics brought to you by Freeman Designs, right? The picture of you and Evan, your son, coaching roller hockey. This was like right when Sean that runs the website started making the clothes. And I remember when he first started it, the first order, there was like 20 packages going out. And I thought, holy shit, I can't believe this many people want something and are listening. But seeing you and Evan coaching roller hockey, he's wearing a legs and eggs sweater, which is
Yeah, it might
funny,
have been a bit inappropriate because I think I was under
right?
14s we were coaching.
I don't think I would wear a legs and eggs hoodie to coach my kids. So
I did get a
it's
few
funny when we
questions.
talk about it in the shed, but it's like I I I thought it was funny. I laughed. I thought that's hilarious. But
Yeah,
he was wearing a legs and eggs hoodie coaching kids, and you were in a two ales and hockey tails sweater, and you got the board, and I just thought this is the most hockey photo I've ever seen. You know?
yeah. We did post for it, but yeah, he was coaching the legs now. We did ask what there were a few of the under 40 asked what legs and eggs is about.
They did
I
ask.
neglect. Oh yeah,
And
what's legs and
did
eggs?
you say it's going to the strippers for breakfast?
No, I say it's breakfast and something else.
Hey, I didn't make it up. People can say I'm inappropriate and talk about stuff like that on here. I didn't say it. It was Matt Caruth, right? I'm blaming him, throwing him right under the bus.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
was a rookie party. He didn't even want to be there, you know? pro hockey rookie
No, you
parties,
have to go.
they make you do stuff you don't even want to do, right? And he didn't want to be there. He didn't want the eggs or the legs. And I know about that. For my rookie party, they dressed me up like a girl and made me go out to the bar and like have fun all night. You think I want to have fun, right?
Right. No. Yes. No.
Well, you know, hockey's supposed to be fun. So another poster pick, Evans in a Team GB jersey. So does he make Team GB in roller hockey?
Yes.
That's
Several
cool, eh?
times.
Playing for
Yeah.
your country's pretty neat.
Yeah. We got to travel as well, which is we've been to quite a few places
Okay, so
because of
tell me
because of,
where the research team missed. I had Italy, USA. Where else did we go?
so we've done obviously through ice England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, France, France, Italy, Czech Republic, Canada, USA.
Wow.
Missed out on Germany because of COVID.
Oof.
I was due to play for the over 45s in 2020, but the trip got cancelled
And
due
where in
to
Germany
COVID.
were you supposed to go?
Place called Bad Toll.
Yeah, I know Bad Tolts. I've played there.
Yeah,
Um,
it did look a nice. It looked a nice town. We were doing all the research, looking where we were going, and then we
it's a
didn't get
nice
to go.
town, nice old barn. And actually there's a shed guy playing there right now. Zach Herman from the Manchester Storm last season.
Oh yeah,
hmm
yeah,
He liked chocolate. He's a shed guy. We talked about him coming back on now that he's in Bad Tolts, you know? So people said I was going to run out of guys, and it's like all these guys
no,
switching teams and moving places, and like then there's all these other guys I've never even had on that probably think I like they're probably upset with me. I'm like in the 300s. I've never reached out, you know?
yeah, yeah.
I'd
There's
name
plenty.
some
Well, there's
names right
plenty. I
now and
mean,
say sorry, but there's too many of you to say sorry to.
yeah.
Uh, okay. Well, that must be neat that he's playing for Team GB and Roller. Have they ever won anything?
um, Evan hasn't. Oh no, he has. He won a couple. He won some medals. The tournament we used to take them to was the AAU Junior Olympics. I started going in 2008 and was lucky enough that year. I was helping on the junior men under 18s team, and we actually won the world championships for the under 18s.
You
Um,
won the World Championships
yeah,
coaching
that's
Team GB.
I was helping on the bench. Yeah, that's one of my poster picks. The team won with the
I
big
saw that,
trophy.
so I have that written down here. That you're with Team GB and a trophy, and I tell you, winning sure is fun. So did you guys get after it that night? I guess it's under 18. They probably really didn't do anything
Well, not
except
all.
drink water and protein shakes and sit-ups, cold
Unfortunately,
tubs.
we had the bright idea because that was one of the years that the World Championships were on the same time as the AAU um, tournament. So the AAU put a club and a international tournament on, and we entered that as well as the World Championships, which is it's now World Skate. It used to be FIRS, Federation of International Roller Sports. So we were in three tournaments. So on the day of the final, I think they had two games before the final. They beat USA in the final 6-3 after losing in the round robin to USA 4-0. We beat Czech Republic in the semi-finals in overtime, 3-on-3 overtime. That was one of the. We were 4-0 down at half time. We swapped goalies, got an early goal. It's a 20-minute stop clock period, so we scored and it went to overtime. Got the OT winner. Then went to the final, and then straight after the final, there was two rinks next to each other, back to back, like two old warehouse type things with the rinks in. So we had the medal ceremony, and then we had to run next door. The guys had to run next door and get geared up to play two more games.
That doesn't make
So
any sense. Once you win a
no,
tournament, you're done. Time to have fun.
well they won. That team won um, two gold medals and a silver. They won the
Jeepers.
world championships. I think they won the AAU international, international division, and then they came second in the AAA club
Uh,
division.
Um, Well, speaking of small world and roller hockey, well, like I obviously played a lot of roller hockey, and a guy I won Narch with, if you know what that is, that's the North
Yeah,
American
North America. Yeah.
roller hockey championships that we won when I was at Western Michigan with him. He was my line mate at Western Michigan, Paul Shahura. We ran amok together on roller and ice. But anyways, he was in Italy playing for Canada, and there was another guy playing for Canada that ran the little roller hockey sessions Colby did a year ago around here. He had a huge beard. Was right into it playing for Team Canada, but that roller hockey was the most interesting. We don't have it around here. There's not enough of it. I would have loved to get Colby into roller, but it's just not close enough around here. We went to this thing, and the ref, when we'd go out and it'd just be a scrimmage, the ref was about a 20, 21-year old that was topless and in one. Um, it was very interesting, and it was like that every week. We'd show up, and this guy would be topless, reffing the kids, and he had chippy tits.
Yeah, that's probably that'd get you
Inappropriate?
some. I would say inappropriate
I would
is
say it's more
putting it
in it's
mildly.
even more inappropriate, I'd say, than a legs and eggs hoodie coach
Yeah, I
can't
think
wear.
that'd get you on a few. That'd probably get you on a few registers in the UK if you were
It was
caught
every,
reffing
but
topless
it's
drunk.
funny because some parents might get upset. I loved it. I thought it was
Yeah,
hilarious.
uh, we uh, we one of the GB trips was to Las Vegas. We took an under 14s. I think under
You got to go
was
to
it un,
Vegas for roller, so did I.
yeah, we went for Kelly and Evan went for 17 days and I went for 10.
Well, that's long enough in Vegas.
Yeah,
17
but
days. Holy moly.
yes, yeah. Some of the American parents were complaining to the tournament organizer it was inappropriate to hold it in Las Vegas and mentioned that it might be all right for the Brits to come here, but it's not right for. And we were in the office at the time, and we said, "Well, I think we've done a fantastic job, Keith, of organising this and putting this tournament on. We're thoroughly enjoying it. It's professional." Blah blah. And she turned around and walked out.
Um, I went there. This is a weird one because most people wouldn't do this trying to be an ice hockey player. I was playing my rookie year of junior B in Elmira, my hometown, and it was around Christmas. They had the Winter Nationals in Vegas, and my roller hockey team from the summer was putting together a squad and going to Vegas. And I asked my junior hockey team, I didn't really ask. I told them I was leaving for a week and I was going to miss a couple games, and I did. And we went to Vegas and played in the Winter Nationals. And Walter Gretzky was my coach, and it was a life memory. And I'm glad I did leave my junior
Yeah.
team, but I don't think that shit happens anymore. I don't think you tell your junior hockey team you're leaving to go on a
No,
roller hockey tournament anymore.
no, not if you're expecting to have a place when you come back.
Yeah. But they let me and they supported me, and thanks, because otherwise Walter would have never been my coach, right? And
Yeah,
I wouldn't have a Team Ontario jersey up in my shed signed by Walter, right?
yeah, that's yeah,
Sorry I'm
good
not in the
stuff.
shed today too. It's PD day. Kids are out of school. They're in the house probably
Oh,
running amok.
yeah, unsupervised.
Well, somewhat. Yeah, I'm on the back deck. Next poster pick. I like this one. It's your wife taking a shed guy and gal selfie at playoff weekend with your crew. And it looks like
Yeah,
quite the crew for a playoff weekend, eh? I saw Devils gear. I saw Sheffield gear in that photo. So you guys just show up and have a
I
time,
think
eh?
I think there's also a couple. I don't know how. I think a couple of Belfast fans have snuck in as well
Is that
on
right?
that
You're even
photo.
hanging out with
Yeah.
those punks.
Uh, unfortunately, playoffs. Unfortunately, now because of COVID, is not what it used to be. I sent you a picture of our bar,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You guys stock up, eh?
Well, the rule was when we first started it, there was about 8 of us. That photo is pretty much everybody that stops. I don't know if you remember, there used to be, or there is still, apartments next to the rink, next to the Nottingham rink. So every year Kelly would book apartment 18. So everybody knew if you wanted a beer and some food, come to apartment 18.
80 or 18?
18, 1 8, your number.
Thank you. That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So when it first
So
started,
you're having a great time in apartment 18.
oh, well, by 2019, all those people in that photo, pretty much, I think I think Kelly booked four or five apartments that year. And the rule was if you were coming to the apartments, you brought whatever spirits you wanted to drink, and then you had to bring a crate of beer, 2 crates of beer or cider or whatever for everybody else to drink. So when you've got 18 people bringing 2 crates of some kind of beer, and then everybody comes, we had, I think you call them crock pots. We had 6 slow cookers.
Yeah.
So on the Friday night, it's family night, and we used to do Mexican food, but it meant I had to cook all Friday afternoon to get it all ready. So we decided to change it up and have Indian night. We used to do curries, so I could
Oh,
prep.
geez.
So I'd do six or seven curries before
Be a
playoff weekend.
smelly apartment by the end of that night, huh?
Not too bad. So we'd
Okay.
have curries on the Friday, and then Saturday the slow cookers would get cleaned out, and then we'd have pulled pork, pulled chicken, and anybody who if you knew so if anybody wanted to come up, have a drink, some
Doors
food.
open. Everybody's
Yep,
invited. That's hockey.
open door policy. Apart from one year, Paige Myers, she always requested mac and cheese. So I made I practiced. I never take any food that I've not cooked before. So I'd had a practice beforehand, and I took a big tray of mac and cheese down, and it went in the oven. And somebody had invited, so I brought somebody up, and nobody knew who they were, and they polished off the mac and cheese. And Paige didn't get any, and she was, what shall we say, a little peed off. So the following year, I made 2, and we had to hide one.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a heck of a time. I only got to
Yeah,
go to the playoff weekend once, and it was as a pregame speaker, and it sure didn't go our way. I got I got spray painted blue, and then they taped my chest with hockey tape to say SWAT. So when they spray paint my canvas, then we rip the tape off my chest. It says SWAT. And I had the headgear, I had a Nerf gun, and I come in and do the pregame speech. And, I gave it my best. And then they went out there and lost like 6-0 to Coventry in the semifinals. You know?
was that the year Coventry won it? I'm not.
No, that was my first year when we got put out to
Uh,
Belfast. No, I
uh,
don't know who won that year. I don't care. We didn't.
yeah, 24. I think that might have been. There was one year when we were at playoffs and Sheffield made the final, but Evan was playing Nottingham in Nottingham Arena on the same day, and they were playing for the league title. So we missed. I missed the final to watch Evan play. So Evan beat Nottingham 9-1 to
But
win the
you're
league.
but you're saying in Nottingham that's where the finals weekend is.
Yes, but there's 2 rinks. There's
There's
two
two
rinks at
rinks.
Nottingham.
Oh,
Yeah. So Evan was on one rink. So we watched the Sheffield, whatever they were called, win the league, and then they all came flying out. Drew Fatter scored the OT winner, I think it was. But we missed the final to watch. So I obviously watched my son. We
oh,
watched
I would I would
Evan
think so.
play.
Yeah. I would
Good
agree with
game.
that. I'd rather
Yeah.
watch my kids play than anyone else in the world, you know?
So yeah, they won. I think they won. Yeah, they won 9-1. Won the
So
league.
when I saw your bar, and it's a full weekend, full sitting, how are you standing upright in your legs and eggs hoodie with Mac and Dougie and Batchy after the championship game? I'd think with that
Well,
many
that was
spirits and crates of beer,
yeah.
you wouldn't as be upright as much by that point.
Unfortunately, that's after COVID. So since COVID, the apartments we used to rent are no longer available. They're long term lets only. So
Oh dear.
yeah. So since COVID, everybody has to stop in hotels now. So we don't get to meet. We only meet up. We get to meet up in the arena
Well,
and in the
hotels can
salt
be
box
fun
and that.
too. I don't know if you've been to a minor
Yeah,
hockey tournament, but you can sure run
I've been
amok at
to
a
a few.
hotel. Yeah. We sure did
Yeah,
last weekend. Yeah, we had a full team barbecue, the full deal, slow cookers, all that stuff, and a belly flop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, next
so
poster pick brought to you by Freeman Designs, who makes all my posters. Geez, nearly 350 of them now, folks. Thank you, Lee. Anyways, it's your son, and he's young, being held up by 3 Steelers. Who are those fellas? Do you know?
left to right. Look, is Sean Sutter. Is the middle guy is Ian Manzano, and the guy on the right is Dan Tessier.
Oh, Dan
That
Tessier, Ottawa
yeah,
67.
yeah, that's right. And Sean Sutter's Red Deer Rebels GM now. I think I heard him mentioned on one of your episodes recently.
See, I hear all sorts of stuff until I know the guy. I don't really, it
Yeah.
doesn't, I don't retain it unless I know the guy, but he's one of the Sutter people, the
Yes,
family.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, a clan.
Yeah.
Um, that's at Rotherham. That's at the roller rink. Dan, we got to know Dan um, that season, and he put on roller hockey sessions for I think Tuesdays was he used to do an hour under 12s and an hour under 14s twice a week, and then he'd bring tickets and what have you, and get the kids to the Steelers games.
Sounds like a good
So
dude.
it is, yeah, it really was. And then he came back. He came back for Corey Nielsen's testimonial in Nottingham, and he invited us down as his guests for the testimony. But yeah, all season he ran the roller hockey camps for the kids for a full season while he was at Sheffield.
Well, I think it's pretty neat when guys like that show up in a town and get stuff going, right? There's a lot of guys that show up and play hockey and then just play hockey and go back to their apartment and don't really get involved. It sounds like he got involved in the community, eh?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, all three of them did. To be fair,
And that's
that
what
was when
kids
the.
remember, right? Like,
Oh yeah, I'm sure it got quite a few. I'm sure it got quite a few kids into roller hockey, ice hockey, whatever, because of that input. Um, yeah, it was good. Yeah.
so next poster pick is while you're with Team GB, I don't know if that's the one with the trophy, but what I noticed was the scarlet flag.
Oh, yeah, that's Czech. No, it's not. It's Italy. Asiago, 2019,
Yeah.
over 45s.
Well, and that gal made quite an impact on the hockey world
Yeah,
over
she
in the
did.
UK, didn't she?
Yep. Yeah. Um, uh, so that's the end of the tournament. I took that flag because we're friends. We're good friends with Chris and Claire,
Yeah.
Scarlett's mom and dad.
Yeah.
Um, in fact, I don't know if you can see that.
I sure can.
That's Evan's helmet
From
that he
the
wears this.
oh wow.
That's the back plate. Well,
And
so
what does it all say on there? You showed it to me.
unfortunately, there's three names on here: Scarlett, and then two teammates of Evans that passed away. Harris, who was on one of the playoff photo. He's one of the young lads in that photo, and another lad, Peter, who got killed in a car crash driving back from Manchester. So Evan has them on his back plate as a remembrance,
Yeah,
and uh,
that's tough.
and then he's got Scarlett's logo on one side, and that's Harris's mum set up a charity after he passed away to raise money for children suffering from cancer
Oh,
through sport. So
yeah, yeah, um, yeah,
but
tough, but
yeah,
Chris and Claire are about as great a people as they get, and
oh well,
right.
yeah. I mean, Chris is another level. The stuff he does for charity to raise money for Tiavan.
I've
He's
seen him running mountains and doing all
oh
sorts of shit, eh?
yeah, superhuman or super stupid. I'm not sure which. He's got another one. He just decided to do another one. He's canoeing down some river and then he's climbing some mountains and doing some kind of run. It's not.
I I I remember being over there in Cardiff, and when we first got there, they brought a bunch of kids from T Haven to a game, and I got
Yeah,
to go up and meet all the kids. And then I think it was my first or second year there. I'm not sure which. I went to T Haven with a few guys and met a bunch of the kids. It's amazing what they do there, and uh,
yeah,
and then when I saw your wife raffling off a jersey to make money for that, and it was my jersey, I was like, whoa, that's cool,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, Evan, since Evan's now old enough to play All Stars, it's the team he play. He always plays for Tiavan.
Right. And you were the referee. That's another poster pick. You were the referee.
It
Why don't
is.
you why don't
That's
you lace it up and muck it up? Who wants to be a
oh,
ref? How can you win?
well, yeah. I have discussed that. I might do it next year. One of the other organisers said he'll ref if I want to play, but it's in Sheffield next year, so unfortunately, there'll be no Tiavan. We're doing it for a children's hospice in Sheffield this time. But
Yeah.
there's been talk that poster pick is labelled the worst boy band in ice hockey. But those guys, those other three give up their weekend every year for nothing.
Well, and to think of what that event does, the
Oh,
amount of money it raises, and it's all just good people doing it for the right reasons. And a bee
yeah,
almost flew in my mouth. Anyways, it's amazing what they're doing with that UK
yeah. I
All
think they
Stars.
they cleared. I think they've raised £1 million now over the years.
From people showing up and playing hockey
Yeah,
together.
yeah. It is. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, Saturday's fun. Everybody has a laugh and has fun, and then Sunday is Championship Day, and it suddenly gets very serious. And
Yeah,
everybody
when there's a
wants
trophy on the
everybody's
line.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's four trophies because there's 8 teams. There's one v there's four finals effectively. So instead of it being you finished eighth, you came runner up in this trophy.
Right,
So there's
yeah.
four finals, so everybody gets to
Yeah,
play
there's
for the
actually
final.
one
But
winner, folks. Don't be fooled.
yeah,
Um, but I did see like well, I heard. I don't see any of the stuff. I heard about the fellows saving a guy's life, the folks
yeah.
saving a guy's
I
life on the
was
ice last year, and then I also saw that starting that year, there was a Scarlet Shield given out for the people that
yeah,
represent the best whatever it is. And to think that's the year that award's created is the
yeah,
same year these people save life on the ice is like
yeah. It was. I was on the ice. I was reffing that game. Evan
Jesus.
was in. Yeah, it was scary. He just, I don't know, he just collapsed. And then I'll say the guy that started it all, Rick. I've seen him skate, and the guy collapsed as far away from the bench that Rick was on as you could be. And I've watched him skate, and I don't know how he got from that bench to the where he was in the time it took him because he was there in seconds. And
And he's not a strong skater.
no, it's the wobbly ankles, what were the wobbly ankles crew.
Yeah, I
Um,
know the
but
type.
but he is he's a trauma. He works in a trauma centre in London. So he's one of the top trauma nurses. He straight away started CPR. The guy in the crowd was a first responder who got his bag with him, who came on the ice with the oxygen and all sorts. James Irons,
Yeah,
onesie.
yeah.
He
Shed
he got the
guy.
D yeah he got the defib. He knew where the defib was in the building and ran and got that. And uh,
People helping people.
yeah, unbelievable.
And
It
people
was lucky. Yeah,
well, and like that everybody has a clear mind, and when a situation happens that they all reacted accordingly instead of
yeah.
the
Panic.
panic and freaking out,
Yeah,
and that they all calm got the job done. That's
yeah,
good
yeah. But it
stuff.
was, it was, it was. I say, 38 years old he was, and he got to go home to his wife and 2 kids.
Yeah. Um, that's
I've said the doctors told him it was waiting to happen. It was lucky that it happened when it did with the people around him that were there. Because if it had happened, it really could have been. It come from Nottingham. It could have
well,
happened driving home to Nottingham after the tournament, and
yeah, yeah. Um, and it's
lucky,
pretty
lucky
neat
man.
too that that award's been created. That I mean, Scarlet will be around forever, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next poster pick, you're with your son on the ice, I think. He's holding a trophy, and you just look like the proudest dad, and he's in a Sheffield jersey, eh?
Yeah. That's under eight. I was under 18 A's. We won the league that year. I was the coach, and we won the league that year.
So is he a
Uh,
Sheffield fan then?
No, I don't know why, but he's a Cardiff fan, even though he's born in Sheffield.
Does that
But
upset you?
no, no.
You've learned to live with it. It's like my
Yeah.
son couldn't get his number 14 this year because one of the older kids already took it. And 10 and 18 were both available. No interest. Zero. He doesn't want my numbers, doesn't want to be making his own path, right?
Well, yeah. So that was league title. We the year before the 18s won it, and they wowed the floor with everybody. Well, they had Liam Kirk played. They had six guys. I took over the year after, and we had obviously have a parents meeting, and I did a quick tot up. So the top two lines, I think off the top of my head, they got 350 points that the year before, and they all left apart from one. So obviously the team is where we've got to find 350 points from what's left.
Well,
So
that
and
does
then
happen.
so we were pretty much written off, and we won the league. We made two finals, lost in both unfortunately, but we lost to the OHA Academy in Swindon, which is a team that's made up of people that can afford to send the kids to the OHA program. So
Yeah.
we lost 3-0 in both. I'm not, like I said to the guys, you all earned your spot on this team, and we gave it everything, but unfortunately lost two. But we made two finals and won the league, so
Well, there's
I took that as a win.
sometimes you run into teams that well,
Yeah.
they either have
Oh,
a
they had a
bigger
good team.
budget or they're just a little bit better. It's like when I was in the coast of Dayton, we got to the finals against Idaho. It was like, well, they play as mean and tough and good defensively as we do, but they also have more skill.
Yeah,
So
that was pretty
what are
much
you
what
gonna
we
do?
hit. We came up against. Yeah.
So another poster pick, the British recreational champions team photo on the ice.
2001. Yeah.
2001.
Yeah.
How serious do these games get in British recreational hockey? I'm guessing if there's a trophy in the mix, you guys are mucking it up harder than the pros do.
Well, when I was playing, yeah. So in that photo, the baby on the goalie's knee, if you look carefully, there's a baby on the goalie's knee, is Evan.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I have some
We
pretty
won it.
cool photos of Colby
Yeah.
in team photos if you look at my
Yeah. So
team
that was
photo of
that
winning
was
in Denmark.
yeah. That was 2000. That was the second time we won it. We won it in 94, 95, but
How
that
many
was the
teams you got to beat to win all of Britain
it's
recreation?
not when I played, it was a tournament that you went to. We went to in Telford, and the format was, I think it was one period, 20 minutes running clock, and the final was two periods, 20 minutes. The
Sorry,
first year we won it,
did you say the final was 2 periods?
yeah, yeah. It's not. It's a big weekend. It's probably 15, 20 teams, something silly like that. And you played in groups, and we end up in the final. We beat Solihull in the second in 2001, 2-1 in overtime, and there was a
Ooh,
former Sheffield Steeler playing that year on that team. But when I first started, there were fights every weekend
there would be.
breaking out. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
um,
you get grown-ups in different jerseys playing for a trophy. Sometimes things happen, right?
yeah. Sometimes somebody does something that somebody takes offence at, and the only way to settle it is fisticuffs.
Yeah. Well, I think it's better to just do that than like be two-handed guys and trying to hurt
Yeah,
people. You may as well just fight and then move on.
yeah. And I think I got into one fight ever, and that was that D side. We got bit of a line brawl in front of our net, and one guy got hold of my head. Literally, his hands were as big as my head, and like that was it. Game over.
Didn't go well.
No, I didn't throw any punches either. I just sort of dragged him to the floor and
Mm.
covered up and hope for the best.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do very well in a lot of my fights, to be honest with you. But just do your best, right? I think that's it for I think that's it for poster picks. I just, that roller hockey photo of you guys coaching roller hockey like that, oh, just I could look at that
Yeah,
for a long time. That is just hockey, you know?
yeah, yeah. We have some good times. I mean, Evan said what you're going to talk about when you come on to his podcast. Well, I've been around hockey for 30 years. I'm sure we'll find something
Well, we've
to
done all right
talk
so
about.
far, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So growing up in Sheffield, so I guess you're 50. You're growing up before there were the Sheffield Steelers. So having them come to town, Simsy and the crew,
yeah.
that's really a staple and a part of the community now, isn't it?
It is that. Yeah, it is now. Yeah. Obviously, when they first started, they did a lot of. They never came. I grew up in a village outside Sheffield, so they never came. But they used to come to schools. Players used to go to schools and do like talks in school and what have you. But it, like I said, when we first started, the players used to come to the pub after, and I think that's what got people into it
I,
is being
I
able to interact with the players. You
well,
know,
and
you
I
see them on
couldn't
the
agree
ice and
more.
you're like, oh, I mean, even like in Cardiff, I'm that old. I used to go to the old ice rink.
Yep.
In fact, we've discussed talking. I've played in all three ice rinks in Cardiff. That's how old I am. So um, it was always even in Cardiff. The players had come in the bar. There was used to be a bar at the back of the rink, and the players, even in the big blue tent, there was the bar there. They used to hang about. And the players had come in for a couple of drinks after the game.
I always had a couple at the Big Blue Tent bar. I had to get to know people,
It's
right?
I
That
think
would be my
that's
night
yeah,
out with a little baby at home or two baby
yeah,
kids at
and
home.
I think that's what sort of gets fans hooked because they know you know
Well,
even
it's
though
the
you're
same
on the
for me
ice and
though. It's the same for me in the shed. Is like, you think I cared if Herning Denmark won until now? It's like now that I
yeah,
know Mac and we're buddies, it's like now I care if they win. And it's same with all these shed guys I see all over the places. Now that I know them, I'm rooting for them and I care more than I used to. And it'd be the same for fans is the more they get to know the players, the more they're going to care about how they're doing.
yeah. Like I say, I mean, you watch the football matches. You know, you're never going to meet one of those football players. They're on huge amounts of money, but you go to hockey. It's not so much now. I don't know about in Sheffield, but I know obviously in Cardiff they still come up to the bar after the game. So people wait, you have a chat with the players,
Get things
and
signed, take a picture.
yeah, exactly, and it makes memories, and it means they come back. They want to come back to the next game, and especially for new fans, it's like, whoa, that's so and so. I've just watched him play a game, and he's now talking to me.
Right.
That's what gets them hooked.
And that's what I liked about playing in the UK and is like the NHL over here, very much like the football or soccer you're talking about, is like the kids just see them on the ice. Like they don't picture them as just normal dudes playing hockey.
Yeah,
Like they're something else. And that was what was so cool about skating with O'Reilly this summer and him letting Colby come out was like the first day. Um, O'Reilly gets in the shower and lets out a huge fart. And Colby looks at me and he's like, holy he farts just like us. And I'm like, yeah, man. He's like just a normal
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
just
yeah,
really, really, really good at hockey.
yeah.
So, I guess you never grew up playing hockey. There was no hockey until the Steelers in Sheffield, or what?
There was, yeah. A couple of the guys I played with at the rec team. They used to play for a team called the Sheffield Lancers, which was I ain't got a clue what league they played in. They were out of I know you've mentioned it before the old rink, Queens Road ice rink, which is where I started playing ice.
Surely it
Um,
wasn't me mentioning it because I still don't know about it.
well, it's been mentioned, let's
Yeah,
say, but yeah. Um, so we played out of there, and there was a few guys that played at a decent level before the Steelers came. It was Sheffield Lancers was the highest level you could play, which probably I don't know BNL British National League or whatever it was called back then. And then the Steelers came to town, but they were still playing out of there.
so when did you start skating?
19,
19 years old. You started out with a
yeah.
penguin?
No, they didn't have penguins when I started.
Oh,
I started on my mum and dad's street playing on in inline skates, just buzzing around. And
yeah.
then I got some ice skates. So I finished work. So I used to finish work. Well, I still do finish work at 12:30 on a Friday, and the ice rink was open from 1 o'clock. So I used to pop to the ice rink for an hour and buzz around because it's quite nobody else was there. There
Right.
were a couple of kids and that, so I got to skate and
So then you
not
got
get bumped
pretty
in.
into it if you're playing for Team Great Britain and roller.
Yeah, eventually, yeah,
Mhm.
skated. We
Pretty late
played.
start.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, probably started on. I think I probably started on the Sheffield Stallions, the rec team, probably at 21, 22.
Well,
Got into it.
before we skip over what we were talking about with the three rinks in Cardiff and the history of the Steelers, was I never even realized this video existed, but on YouTube there's the history of the Cardiff Devils, and I watched it and it's incredible. Like I had always heard of Ruggles and
Oh
Shannon
yeah,
Hope and all these players. You hear all these fans tell you about all these guys, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Um, but then you watch a show like that, the documentary where it's showing them behind the scenes, and they're showing these guys that just look like shed guys that are having fun playing hockey and look like they're just having a time and they're winning it all. And then you see there's the dark period in Cardiff, and then you see what's happened from my first year to what they've been doing the last decade. It's an amazing history that each team has, and it's pretty neat to be a part of it when you're watching something. And then you see your team playing for the Challenge Cup, and you see what it means to the town and the fans. And we're just guys out playing hockey at that point, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny because Steve Moria, one of the Cardiff legends, he plays All Stars every year. It must be in his 60s, and it's brilliant because his number's in the rafters.
Yeah,
So his number 19, Moria, is in the rafters, and he's buzzing around with all these guys that have never
yeah.
played hockey. So this year, Scarlett's dad, he finally decided he was going to play for Tiavan, and so he was practicing. I know Joey Martin gave him a few pointers because he's good friend. He's quite friendly with. If
Yeah.
you ever watch the webcast when they announce Joey Martin, the webcast announces Joey Martin, Claire's favorite, is how it's
Oh,
announced
that's
every
awesome.
yeah.
He's
So
my
Chris,
favorite too.
yeah, so Chris laced him up and had it and played. I lent him some gear and that, and I orchestrated. They played Steve Moria's team, and Chris was a bit of a Steve Moria fan, so I orchestrated Steve Moria to go on the third line, which is a bit, and he started a fight with Chris. To, we were trying to get a pen because if you get a penalty, it's a penalty shot at All Stars. So we were trying to get Chris a penalty shot because it would have took him probably 5 minutes to get to the net.
You could have just
Um,
used a penguin, eh?
yeah, well, yeah. But so seeing Moria's name up on in the rafters, and then he's there all weekend as well. He doesn't just turn up for a couple of games, and he's there all weekend. He plays every year for
Um,
breast cancer now it's called. But
well, what's neat for my history or story, whatever, is people probably don't realize the way Wally Night came to fruition, I think is the word.
yeah,
Um, Paul Sullivan, Shed Guy, and some other fans had it in their mind that they wanted me to come back to Cardiff and see everybody. And they were talking about bringing me over for the All Stars. And
yeah,
then when that wasn't going to work out for whatever reason, was Todd and the Devils found out about these fans wanting me to come back so badly. Was they're like, well, why don't we have a Wally night? And it's like, hey, that's a cool idea.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
I
think
never
I
forget
vaguely
who
remember.
made those
Yeah,
things happen, right? It was Paul
yeah,
Sullivan and some other fans that they fought for me to come back, and it
yeah,
happened.
yeah. I think I vaguely remember because we had a on the All Star weekend we had a Friday night All Stars legend night, and a lot of the ex Devils turned out. So that might have been the year they were trying to get you back.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
sure,
know.
but
Well, it's yeah, that All Stars. We can talk about that all day. That's quite the spot. So, what are your favorite barns in the UK?
oh, blimey, good question.
Thank you.
Um,
That's what I try for.
obviously, I like. I do like Sheffield, even though it's too bit. But when I go,
That's because you don't have to play because it's way too warm
that's
and you
true.
sweat too
And
much and you can't even
I
think because you're
also,
sweating too much.
I also the good. I always sit up in the top corners so you can see the whole ice. A lot of the old car, the big blue tent, they ended up putting TVs up because depending on where you were sat, if the player was
In a
on one
corner.
side under the
Yeah.
boards, you couldn't see anything. So you end up, which was great, but you end up sat watching. You forgot there was a game on. You'd be sat watching the TV.
Right. Yeah. For me,
And
I
you're like,
like
oh wait a
to be
minute,
down at
it's
the
actually.
glass.
I did like the blue tent, even though it was freezing cold. It had the, I had been to a lot of the rinks. Um, we did the Scotland rinks uh,
Fife.
when that year, the 14-15 season. Fife, Dundee, and Glasgow. No, it wasn't Fife. Sorry, it was Edinburgh that year. We did the triple header. Edinburgh, which is an old rink.
Yeah, it sucks.
Then Glasgow, which was a weird one. It's in attached to a shopping centre or something.
Yeah.
And then we did Dundee,
Yeah,
which was a
Dundee's
good
good
night.
other than the curling rings on it. I don't like that.
It's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a good barn other
yeah.
than the
Dundee
curling
was a good
rings.
night.
Did you get Dundee drunk? That's a thing there.
Obviously, we saw your backup dancing talent. No, we did not get Dundee drunk. We did get drunk, but not that drunk.
Hmm.
Uh,
It's a thing, I guess.
the key,
Are you there? Oh, there you are.
yes, we're
What'd you
back.
say about my backup dancing? Were you there when I did the shake it
I
off?
was.
Are you cutting out again? Holy moly. Get your internet together. Did you
Well,
say you
fine.
were? Speak, boy.
No. Yes, I was there. Yes, so I remember. Get
Holy,
off.
your internet is
Just a
struggling.
minute. Yeah, wait a minute. I'll see. I think so.
Now
Let's
his internet's
try
going to be
again.
way better, right? So you said you did see me dance to Shake It Off at the Dundee Arena. Do you know that was one of the first days I realized I could start acting like myself in the game of hockey and nobody was going to judge me that much?
Yeah, I was. Uh,
Holy moly, your internet
frozen again.
sucks. You
Wait a minute.
keep talking and then nothing
Minute.
happens. Are you good? Now he's totally better, folks. So now you're going to answer the gosh darn question. You saw me dance. I'm a fantastic dancer, aren't I?
I did. Yes. Yes, that was Dundee 2014-15. It was quite an evening, Dundee.
Did you think I
There
was a
was.
good dancer? Do you think I was
Yeah,
the
I've
best
got a
on the
video
team?
somewhere. I've got a video somewhere.
I
Got a video because
think all of my teammates thought I was a fantastic dancer. After every win, I would dance for them. And what's interesting that people don't really know, because these videos could never make it out there. When I was injured and I wouldn't go on road trips, if we saw the boys won, um, well, we'd play some tunes and Lisa would video me doing a dance for the fellas. And we would post it on the group chat for the fellas to see after they won, if they earned it. And my wife viewing some of those dances, she must have thought, geez, this is strange. Um,
what have I married?
yeah, what a weird guy.
Yeah,
But yeah, dancing can be fun if you win, right? But if you lose, dancing is not fun.
no, I
Mhm.
have to sit in silence and contemplate
What you should have
the
done.
next game. Yeah,
Yes, I agree. So so what was your favorite barn? Did you even answer? It's not Sheffield.
I
That thing's way too big.
no, I don't know. I haven't been to many barns. I don't do many. Never did many away trips anyway. Um,
Okay, here's a cutting edge question. Which of the three Cardiff arenas would, if you could go to a game, which one would you go to?
the first one,
And I saw that in that documentary or the history of the Devils, and I thought, wow, that's a sweet looking barn.
yes.
And
The
it's right by
first,
Chippy Lane, or it
it
was.
is right. It was, yeah, right in the town centre.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, because it was always packed. It was there was obviously the fans would stand around the boards up against the glass, similar to the blue tent. I'm trying
That's
to
what
think
you
if there
want.
was
You want
actually
the people
seats.
right up on the glass. That's what the
Yeah.
players want too.
Oh, yeah, it was a good atmosphere.
Okay,
And
next.
it was always packed, and there was a bar in the rink.
Okay, next cutting edge question. Who are your favorite Steelers ever?
Well, obviously we have to say Jonna, seeing his
Yes.
wife's my son's godmother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
I knew you guys were
um,
close with them, but yeah, he is as good as people get. And if I was ever building a team and everybody was this, he would be my first pick to lead my team.
yeah, so obviously Jonna simply because of what he did at Sheffield, um, he obviously I think he dictated the culture. They've had some good play. Levi Nelson was one. He was a good player in the recently,
I played against
and
him in
then
Germany.
yeah, Ken Priestley was the one in the 90s. He came, he was sort of the Sheffield's first proper high caliber player that they sort of say. He had two Stanley Cup rings, was his claim to fame. He was on the Pittsburgh squad when they won the Cups.
Yeah, if I
Um,
won the Stanley Cup, that'd probably be my claim to fame too.
so he was one that stood out. Obviously, seems they always announce him on as the Messiah, Ken Priestley.
Simsey's quite the dude, isn't he? He knows how to hockey.
Yeah, he does. He's been there since day one, and he certainly knows how to get fans going
Yeah, yeah,
one way or another.
yeah.
I think sometimes for the wrong way, but he always gets a reaction.
Yeah, and he is the Shed's top scorer all time. His two of his three episodes are ranked number one and number two ever.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who got me into hockey, who I worked with, he was friends with Simsy, so he used to Simsy used to get him into away games. Getting into Nottingham, obviously, way back when Nottingham and Sheffield was a big rivalry because the teams never really changed. There wasn't a turnover of players that we get now,
Yeah,
so it was the same players year in year out. So rivalries grew, and if somebody did something one year, they were still there the next year to answer
pay
for
for it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the old Nottingham rink was similar to Cardiff's old rink. So it was netting and small boards and small rink and
When
dark and
people used to
dingy.
get to really muck it up, those big ice surfaces in Nottingham and
Yeah,
Sheffield now, you hardly see a body check.
yeah, but getting tickets for the Nottingham Sheffield games was next to impossible. So Simsy used to. So my friend used to go down early and meet the bus, and Simsy used to carry gear into not be part of the staff and carry bags into the rink and then hang about in the changing room till it would get game time and then got into the games. So Simsy, but he's got so many stories.
Oh yeah, being
And
around the game for that long, you
yeah,
accumulate a lot of stories.
I mean, I think he did a evening with Simsy for Batch's testimonial,
Yeah.
and obviously Batch's played GB, but he's never had anything to do with Sheffield. But that's what he does.
Well, and that
We've had him.
Simsey's good at promoting British hockey, like not even just the Steelers. Like he creates a buzz, and that Batchy
Oh
wants
yeah,
him to come and have a night with David Sims for his testimonial, and Batchy's been a devil his whole career. It says a lot about Simsey's impact.
yeah, yeah, and what he's prepared to do just to promote the British players, well, players in general, but British players that have showed their loyalty to a club.
Yeah, no, it's good on him for going to do that. Um, okay, you know what one maybe my favorite barn in the UK is these days, other than the chocolatey storm shelter, is the castle in Leeds because it is
Oh
the
yeah,
big blue tent.
they just took it apart and moved it, and it spruced it up a bit.
It
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 does look
it
a bit. It
looks
does.
fantastic. It does look like a
Yeah,
castle. Well done, Leeds, right?
yeah. and they're doing well as well.
And they throw chocolate on the ice.
Yeah, they've got a good squad. Um, Obviously,
Woody.
Ron Childress' son Cole was there last year. He just signed. He just moved back to Sheffield, and there's a few others
Yeah, it
who are good
looks like a
players.
squad there though. You got Haywood, and then they
Yeah.
got that other guy that just runs amok, who's a young British guy too. That
Oh, Kieran
yeah,
Brown.
that guy should
Yeah,
be in the elite league
Evan
soon
used
by
to
the
play
sounds of it.
against him. Yeah, he should be. I think he just needs a couple more years, perhaps, and then somebody will give him a chance.
Well, those
But
kids got to get a
he wants
chance,
to
right?
play. Yeah, he wants to play and score. I
Right.
think if he gets an elite league spot now, he'd be on the bench. And
Right. And
obviously, you don't
especially at
want to
that
do that.
age, you got to get ice time and score goals and learn
Yeah,
how to score goals so you
yeah,
can do it at the next level.
yeah.
Sitting on,
I mean,
you see it all the time. German hockey, all the young kids sit on the bench for years.
yeah,
And then it's like, well, how do you make the next step if you've been sitting on a bench for 2 years?
yeah, yeah. I see. You see comments on Twitter and that. Oh, he should be playing for whoever an elite league side, but he scored. I think he scored 100 points last year. He's not going to score that.
Yeah.
Sat watching lines
Watching,
1 and 2 roll out every week, every game,
yeah, watching the
and
imports play.
yeah, getting 3 minutes a game if he's lucky.
So going through the research team, it's getting hot. And one of our messages back and forth was really funny. Um, we were just you wrote about how the Devils fans really kicked off when the logos changed and didn't know anything about it coming, and then it happened, and there was some pushback, which I'm sure all the people in Cardiff are digging it now that they're winning games because winning is solves everything, and
Yeah,
it is a new identity and it's different. They got a new coach, and but then you sent me the Steelers old logo, and holy moly, you were right what you said about it. It is it's a hand on a stick. I don't know how to explain it appropriately on here without being inappropriate, but it looked like the
what it
hand
looked like.
it looked like the hand was working the shaft of the stick. Whoever made that logo, you're a sick, twisted.
Yeah, and I think that was the logo for 2 or 3 seasons as well.
Did
Even
people
worse.
mention it? Like, did people mention what it looked like? They had to have.
I think away fans did. I think that was, but that was before social media, so it was basically you could only mention it
If
when you
if
were at the
that
rink.
logo came out now, if the Devils logo was like that now and they came out with something like that, I tell you that would go viral.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
and you could, obviously, and the worst thing is everybody bought replica shirts with that logo on, so it was everywhere.
it's it's one of my favorite logos I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I um, I don't know how else to explain it, folks, unless you want to look up the Steelers logo from what's that, the early 90s?
yeah, mid 90s. Yeah,
Mid 90s, folks. Check it out. The Steeler fella's taking care of himself, right? Anyways, I should move on, right?
yeah, possibly.
So are you into hockey this year? What are you into? Are you coaching? Anything?
No, I'm refing. I've got obviously Evans got a game tomorrow in Coventry, and then there's roller games on Sunday, so I'm refing Sunday.
So you're being a hockey dad. You're seeing all his games when you can.
Yeah, when we can, yeah. Um, I've been to. I'll probably end up going to more Cardiff games than Sheffield. I went to the Cardiff Sheffield pre-season game. Sheffield 1-0. That was the first and last game I've been to so far. Um, Kelly's off to Grenoble to watch them in the Conti Cup.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
if they make the final, if everything aligns, they could end up playing Herning in the finals.
Yeah, I know. I heard all
So
about it. That would and I don't think Mac's that competitive, so I don't think he would even want that to happen.
no,
Yeah.
I'd probably not want to start. We'd rather sit on the bench and
Yeah,
let
right.
his backup play
I
the
think
first game 2 years.
I actually picture that myself as a guy. I would have left Bietigheim, Helbron, and then gone to Denmark or to Cardiff, I would be so ready to play that hockey game.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. If it does happen, we'll make the trip again. Um, I'm
and
not sure.
that's like that like I cheer for Mac. He's a Shed legend, and Cardiff's always my team. And now there's the Manchester Storm have creeped into my life and my hockey
Yeah,
family, you know? And fun fact is like I'm now part of their history that if someone ever someday made a documentary on the history of the Manchester Storm, they'd be like, oh, and then they started throwing chocolate on the ice because of the Shed and Concard, and that's cool. And so now they're part of my hockey family. There's no getting out of that. But when Cardiff was playing Manchester last weekend, man, I'd rather them not play each other. I don't need that in my life.
yeah. It's yeah. It just needed a draw, or
Yeah,
Cardiff win one and Manchester in the other,
yeah,
or
yeah, both in overtime. Each team gets
yeah,
three, you know,
3
three
points.
point nights.
Yeah, out on the
Yes.
weekend.
Yeah. That's what I was looking for. But anywho, interesting stuff. But it is pretty neat, right? If you go to a game and you see Manchester play, check out the captain's jersey. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I just say if well, I don't know, but if they've got replica, if they put that on the replica shirts, if anybody's got a captain's Critchlow replica shirt, I would imagine it's got your logo on the back, so it
And
could be
that
everywhere.
and that's about as neat as it gets, you
Mm,
know? So anywho, um, fun is fun, right? Go Devils, go Storm, go Herning, go Canucks. Sheffield, you're part of it too, but you banned fun. Were you at Kit Kat Get That in Sheffield?
no, I wasn't. No,
Oh,
but you can imagine.
be
Well,
better.
you see,
Be
I
better,
know
Coles.
you saw the teddy bear toss. You can imagine Kit Kats flying down from the top tier.
No, I can't actually. I never saw like the throwing of the Kit Kats. I saw them all on the ice and it was incredible and I loved it. Simsy supported me, the Steelers supported me. And you know, I was this close to diving right in with the Steelers, the team I hated my whole life when I almost signed with them. I go to Cardiff instead, and then they're our biggest competition for both years. And I just hated them with all my heart after hockey. And then I realized that Jono's a good dude, Dowdy's a good dude, Simsy's a good dude, and they're all just a bunch of shed guys. They're just on a different team. And I'm like, you know, we got this Kit Kat thing going, and this is fun, and fun is fun, and Mosey's on the team. Kit Kat Kit that's canceled. Mosey goes back to Cardiff, and it's like, huh, you know,
John has retired, or
Jono's
sort of
retired.
retired,
But we got Dowdy and we
semi-retired.
got a raffle going, folks, at aleshockeytales.com. And next week I'm having on shed guy that was in Herning last season, Kevin Tansey, right?
Yeah, he looks a good player.
Yeah, big fella
But what I've
mucking it
seen,
up too, eh?
yeah, yes, I think it suits this league, suits him, suits his
Yes.
style of play. Let's say,
He seems to be happier and or like just from seeing videos and playing is like he's in the action out there.
yeah,
Yeah, and like I support shed guys, you know. I do cheer for some teams, but like I cheer for people. And I saw a photo of him for his poster pics of him throwing the puck over the glass to a kid that has asked for a puck for his birthday, and you see all the looks on the kid's face, on the mom's face, on the fans around, and you just see the joy in their face when they see that
mm,
puck coming up over the glass, and it's like, God, that's hockey, you know?
yeah, yeah. It's just, and it's a memory for that kid.
And it
I mean,
is.
we had
And I
pucks.
bet you Kevin Tansey's his favorite player now. Just
Yeah,
guess thinking out
yeah.
loud in the shed again.
So when Matthew was at Nottingham, he used to throw a puck over for Everton when we went to games. The first time I was at Nottingham when he was just a young pup, as you say. So we had boxes and but back then, back then they were just black pucks. They didn't even have team logos on anything. But
Right.
it's bought, you know. I think
Yeah.
now they've got the team logo, so at least it's something. Or it's got something to remember the game by.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, here we go. Now the guy's building a shed next door, got the saws going. Jeepers, good thing we're almost done. So what are your predictions for the season?
Um, I think it's going to be Sheffield, Cardiff, Belfast, but not necessarily in that order.
Weird.
It's
It's like every
whether,
year.
yeah, pretty much. Nottingham seem to have got off to another rough start, so we'll see what happens to them. I think Manchester may surprise a few teams.
Yeah.
I think it's just a case of, I mean, Cardiff's kept a lot of their core players from last year, so they've got a bit of a head start on Sheffield and Belfast because both teams, Sheffield got a fairly new, quite a lot of new imports, as
See,
have
I
Belfast.
think what you're saying here is horse manure. Cardiff has a new coach. They have a whole bunch of new imports. Sheffield has the same coach that'll be playing the same structure with
Yeah,
some of the same guys. And it's like, well, if you decide to change everybody, that's fine. But like you guys
but
chose to do that. Having a new coach is different than having the same coach.
well, Cardiff's kept their top line though. Cox, Sanford, and the other one. Oh,
The goat.
Joey Martin.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
forget
so
don't ever call Joey the other one. He's the
the other
goat.
one. Yeah,
Okay?
so they've
Those
kept their
other
top
two
line.
are the other two. Joey's the goat.
Um, I don't. Yeah, so it'll
But
be them
Belfast
three
is a real
battling it
handful
out.
these last few years, aren't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, and obviously they've got Beskar one in net. Who was a big seemed to fill the net.
Well,
We watched him in the Challenge Cup games. Um, he had a good Challenge Cup, even though they didn't do very well. But them teams have bigger budgets. A different format this year as well, which was a bit weird. They
um,
used to be groups.
well, what I noticed, and like not that I know a ton about hockey, but Manchester is a smaller budget. I heard they have great sponsors this year that make fun. But like they kind of roll, I don't really know because I've never seen them play, but I think they roll closer to three lines than four.
Yeah,
And Cardiff has four lines of players and probably have some health bombs, some healthy scratches in the crowd that could play hockey. And then Belfast has the same. Sheffield has the same. And you see those games, Cardiff against Manchester last week. It's like, well, they were about tied until the third period, and then the team with that depth, and I say depth can win championships, because the times I won it takes everyone to win. It takes a team. I think Manchester has that, but for injury cover, for having the juice in the third period, they do have a challenge playing the big budget teams, but I know
yeah,
they know what they're up against. So it is what it is. It's like when we were in Cardiff 2014-15, we were a three-line team, and I actually like playing three lines more. You know,
yeah. Well, back then everybody was three lines, four lines, but they never played. This is what we were saying earlier. They never
I always had a hard
played
time
four
with
lines.
four lines.
They'd
I'd be
play two
bored by the
lines, and then
time it
the
was
third
my
line had
ship.
played. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, trying to think what other questions I got. You got any questions for me? I'm sorry we're not in the shed, but
No, it's
it's right
fine.
there.
It's just behind you. Uh, have I got any questions for you? No, I don't think I have.
No? Okay.
No,
Well, say hi to Evan, Kelly,
I will.
and everybody else I know over there because I don't get to see anybody.
Yeah,
But thanks for coming on, and thank you so much for the whistle and supporting the shed. Fun is fun.
it is. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, and I guess go Storm, go Devils, go Canucks, right?
Go Steelers.
And if they ever want to support fun again, just let me know, right? I'm right here. I won't even get anything started with Tansy next week, Simsy. Don't worry. I know you told me it's not allowed. The arena banned us, banned fun, right? It wasn't even the
We need
Steelers'
to.
fault. That's what hurts. The
No, it's the
arena
arena.
shut it down.
It took that long to get all the chocolate off. It melted and
Yeah,
ruined
isn't
the
that weird
ice.
that that's the only ice surface that happened in? So
Yeah.
Cardiff's okay with it, Manchester's okay with it, Herring
Well,
Denmark's
Manchester
okay with it, but then Sheffield all of a sudden
that
there's
cold,
issues with the ice. Is it because it's too warm? Did we throw
probably.
chocolate on ice and it melted because the arena's that warm?
Yeah, I would think it's probably that, and it's been in people's pockets for 3 periods.
Well, yeah. But thank you, Sheffield, for making that memory for me and Evan and all those players. Because like that day that happened, man, when I'm over here just sitting in my shed, trying to entertain myself, and then shit like that happens, it's like I'll remember that for the rest of my life. And thank you, Sheffield. You are part of my hockey family. Just not as close to me as Cardiff and Manchester, right? So, anywho, well, thanks for coming on, and this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Colsey and Wally.